Hi everybody, we are working on our American History unit this year and I purchased a lot of curriculum, so much that I had to divide up our units into smaller units. So I'm just showing you some of the supplies that we got. We got books and kits and toys and so many wonderful things. And the first thing I had to do once all of these supplies came in was to categorize them into our different smaller units, starting with Columbus and then moving into colonial times and all the way up to the Western frontier and the gold rush. All right, let me show you what we're going to use for our California History and Gold Rush unit. But I also want to share with you a little bit about how I put these units together and how I lesson plan. The first thing I generally do is I'll go online and I will look at all of the material that's available within that subject area. And generally, I like to look at rainbowresource.com. They usually have a ton of supplies and a really good search engine. So I'll just plug in the subject area and then not just books show up, but kits and toys and projects. So you can tell there's a project here that my kids are just really eager to use. Once I collect all the materials that we want, I'll put them into a wish list. A lot of these things we purchased using funding from our charter school. And once the materials arrive, then I can start sifting through the books and the projects and figuring out how long each is going to take. And then I'll use this full back sticky post-it on the back of either the projects or the books, and I will just make some notations about who's going to read it, whether it's going to be my child who's going to read it, whether I'm going to read it out loud, and how long I think the book is going to take to read, or how long the project is going to take to do. So the first book I want to show you is Gold Gold from the American River, and I got this book because I really like the illustrations. I'm a sucker for illustrations. If it's nicely illustrated, it's probably going into my cart. And this is a really simple book, so it's not going to take more than a day to read. Either I'll read to my kids or my 5th grader will read by himself. We also have John Sutter, and this is a very, very simple book. This would only take a day for my 5th grader to read, and I don't think I'll read this one aloud. And I like to have an assortment of books from different age levels or grade levels so that my younger students can read them to themselves, or I can read them aloud, or so that my older students can have something as well. But this year it's a little different. I've got a kindergartner, 5th grader, and a 9th grader, and there's been a lot of shifting around with our units, but I still like to have a wide variety of resource material because I do read aloud to my children a lot as part of our units. This one also is really nicely illustrated and looks like it has a lot of information. And I just put that as taking a week to read, even though we could probably read this in one day, but just splitting it up over a week is a nice way to go with some of these materials. And in my units, I do like to have things that pertain to either the culture, the religion, some biographies, historical fiction. That's why there's kind of a variety of material. So this one's about the California missions. And since we live near one, I thought it would be good to read the one that we live near, but they didn't actually have that in this book. But I did make a notation of the ones that we did want to read, how long it was going to take, and then make plans to go visit the one that's near us. We also have these historical replica coins, and they are really nicely packaged, but I think my kids really want to see if they can open it up and actually handle the coins. We have a couple of historical fictions as well. This one is called Balloon Boy, and this will be for my 5th grader to read, and I put that it would probably take him about a week since he really loves reading. What was the Gold Rush? I really enjoy these books. There's a lot of them in this series. They're very simple to read. They're packed with information. They're nicely illustrated, and they're simple, and I really, really like them. And so anytime that I find a book from like this format of book within the subject area that we're studying, I definitely pick it up. And I just put that it would probably take us a week to read. I just divided up over that week. Another historical fiction, this is Horn Spoon, and this is for my 5th grader, and I'm estimating that it would take him maybe a week or two to read. Island of the Blue Dolphins. This is a classic. We've never read it yet in our homeschool, so I'm really happy to be able to do this one with this unit. And hopefully I'll have time to read this one aloud to my kids, depending on the other books that we have for all the units, because we're doing American history spanning many different time periods, and so we do want to read the Laura Ingalls Wilder books, and if those take over like the whole entire unit, then we might not have time for me to read this aloud to the kids, but in the very least my 5th grader can read it. Another historical fiction, this is called Local News, and this is for my 5th grader, and I estimate about a week for this book for him. And then I have Jessie Bennett Fremont, and this is something I'll probably read to my kids aloud, at least to my 5th grader. I'm not sure that he'd be interested in reading this book on his own, but this is again a biography, and very pertinent to California history, since we have a city named after her, or at least after the family name. All right, some of the projects that we have for this unit. We have 2 gold kits, gold digging kits, and we also have this book called Gold Rush, and I think I might have gotten this one from the library or hand-me-down, I don't remember. But I just marked on the back that we want to read chapters 1 through 4 because that would relate to the California Gold Rush. And our kits are from Rainbow Resource, as much of the products are. And this one is you're excavating out of a gold block. And this other one, this one's really neat. I'm really excited about this one. It's called How to Learn How to Pan for Gold. And it comes with a pan, and I actually can't remember how many of these I bought, but when you've got multiple kids, it's a good idea to have multiple kits because it's really hard to share something like this. And so I'm really excited to use this one. I've got a couple more materials to show you. This one is, actually let me show you this one first. This is called Song of the Swallows, and it's a really beautiful picture book, really beautifully illustrated, and it even comes with some songs here. And if you know how to read music, then you could probably play this on the recorder or the piano, I'm thinking. And what's neat is that, I'm not sure if I said, it was published in 1949. Really beautiful. So when you get books that are published not recently, then you find that the illustrations really kind of match that time period. So I really like it like in the style that was popular at the time, and so I really like this. And it's also about the swallows, and those are the birds that are at the mission San Juan Capistrano, which is not too far from us, and so it's nice to have a book that relates to something that's local. All right, we have Drawing America, California Sights and Symbols, and I really like picking up books on how to draw the symbols or just the landscape of the area that we're studying, because it really helps when we are adding drawings to our main lesson book as well as the narrations, because I'm not skilled at drawing at all, and so I could use all the help that I could get. And plus my kids, when they're using a book like this, it really gives them the confidence to draw and be happy with their drawings, because it's really simple, it's very nicely laid out, has lots of small steps to help you achieve your drawing with success. So I'm really happy to have this one. But I'm even happier to have this one. This one's called Plants and Animals, and the reason why I'm thrilled to have it is because our dear friend Sama is the writer and illustrator of this book. And it's all about the plants and animals of California, which is perfect because a lot of these things we actually see when we're hiking around in our local hills. And what's super cool about this is that I have 2 more signed copies that I'm going to be giving away to you, so do look out for that. Is her signature, guys, I promise. So do look out for the video that announces the giveaway, because I have 2 books that I am really thrilled to be giving out. And if you don't win and you live in California or not, I do encourage you to check out the book.